Hey everyone! While gaming can be many things, be it a competitive space or a place where a lot of like-minded individuals can come together against some kind of goal, or just a fun place to hang out, there is no doubt that gaming is art. Obviously, anything can be art. A scribble, a lifelike painting, even a banana taped to a wall. But gaming has its own place, and I think many people tend to overlook it. First, let's start with box art. To a percentage of people, this is typically the first thing you see when you get a video game. It's the cover, and it's meant to convey the entire game to you. Retro games used to use in-game sprites to make the artwork of a box. Games like Duck Hunt, Super Mario Bros., Kirby, Pinball, and many more. Others, however, would choose to use handmade art or pictures, like movie posters. Those games would be Sonic, later Super Mario entries, and a majority of the Atari titles, with a good couple of sports games. And both of these formats have their own benefits. For example, the sprite work shows you exactly what the game will look like when you play it. However, the handmade art, the actual art behind the game, shows you what it could look like, what the developers were envisioning while making the game. The only issue was the technology at the time limiting the ability to make the game look like the art that they were trying to convey. However, all of this changed with the modern age. With gaming moving away from sprites and towards game models, cover art would do the same. Now, most cover arts for major titles use game models and carefully crafted, almost like-life looking scenes. Notable examples of this to me are Assassin's Creed, Pokemon, and of course Call of Duty. And this kind of cover art makes sense. You already have the models for the game in any resolution you could imagine, so why spend more money to contract someone to draw art when you could just put a couple of models together in a dynamic pose, add lighting and a logo, and start selling? However, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of this kind of cover art. A lot of the time, the models and backgrounds used are much higher quality than what's in the actual games, or the models used won't have the same lighting as each other. Security Breach is a good example of this. But of course, a few games still utilize handmade artwork as their cover, most of them being indie games, of course. But also a few larger titles like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Nier Automata, and plenty more. This handmade cover sort of conveys the ideas that these games are ones that were made with care and passion, which is likely why a lot of indie games use this format. Games like Hollow Knight, Celeste, Among the Sleep, Amori, and way more. There's also, of course, many games that do the most badass move by making their cover art literally just the logo. While this is usually done for anniversary collections, collector's items, or special copies of the game, there's a few games that just do it because they can. Usually this is just because they have very memorable logos or recognizable logos, but there's some games that just only use the logo for their cover art, regardless of how new the game is, who you are, how much you've known about the game, or how good the logo could be. Think about Skyrim. Most copies of Skyrim don't have the cover art of, say, the Dragonborn. Majority of them just have the logo and the words Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, with some kind of special edition or whatever. But you get the idea. And then there's other games, like Undertale, which isn't exactly the best or most memorable logo. However, it's extremely recognizable for a lot of people because of the community behind Undertale, be it for good or for bad. So, with just the logo, you instantly know what you're getting into when you buy and eventually play this game. You know you're playing Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. You know you're playing Undertale, and there's not much more besides it. But with cover art out of the way, let's talk about trailers. Also, real quick, if you're enjoying this video, I know, sorry to just butt in like this. If you're enjoying the video, please consider leaving a like or maybe a comment, possibly even subscribing. I make a lot of content similar to this, and I would love for you to watch more. Additionally, if you have any recommendations for videos I should make, please leave them in the comments. That would be extremely helpful. Thank you. This will be one of, if not your first looks at a game. So it's extremely important that the trailer shows everything the game is about. But a lot of the time, these trailers really fail in doing just that. A common issue is not showing real gameplay. Most games will opt to show cinematics, cutscenes, or scripted gameplay rather than the average gameplay a player might have. There's also the fact that the gameplay might appear a lot better due to better resources the company may have to run the game. While teaser trailers and announcement trailers can get a pass due to being short and giving a concept of the game, regular trailers really don't have that benefit. These trailers are meant to show the game in full, so with just cinematics, consumers can't get an accurate showcase of the game. Of course, now there's exceptions to this. Something that's been more common for trailers released during events is to show developers playing the game live or let the audience demo it themselves. This, for the most part, shows exactly what consumers can expect from the game, and since most gaming event showcases are held online now, anyone can see these demos or live playtests at any time just to get an idea of the gameplay. On a bit of a side note, I really hate when trailers are just cinematics. Where I've seen this the most is YouTube ads, most specifically games like Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero. Aside from these games being really annoying because of how many ads there are, almost all of their trailers are just the same short animation with almost no gameplay. Obviously, no hate to the animators. However, when you watch these animations and ads so many times, they get really annoying. And with the fact that there's no gameplay at all, it makes me honestly think that the developers or whoever is behind these games, they don't have any confidence in what the actual game is with its gameplay and how you go through it. What they have confidence in is the art. Anyway, moving on. While I could dedicate an entire section to the gameplay of gaming and how much more art and storytelling there can be within gameplay, there's just too many examples. In fact, if you have some memorable ones, please let me know. I might make a future video. But with that out of the way, let's talk about gaming music. Personally, I've always been incredibly interested in video game music. To me, I think it's the best part of any video game and its replayability. These tracks are made to be listened to again and again, be it because of looping, multiple uses, or for multiple playthroughs. Regardless, these tracks are made to be listened to countless times. Additionally, a lot of this music is meant to be listened to in the background, so it's perfect to listen to while doing things. Most YouTube creators have video game music in the background of their videos. And then there's the most important part of video game music, its ability to fit a scene or gameplay. Take a moment to think about any video game track, a battle theme or an idle track. Now think about the gameplay. If you were able to connect any music with gameplay of any kind, that just shows the ability for it to fit a scene or an event. Here, let's play a quick game. Totally not to pad out the video's runtime. I'm going to play 5 tracks, and if you can connect these tracks to any kind of gameplay that you can imagine, you get a grand prize of proving my point. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3.
number 4. And number 5.
So, with all this said, I think it's pretty clear how big and important gaming is as its own art form. Sure, you might have noticed some, if not all, of the examples I brought up. However, hopefully you learned something a little bit different about how this art came to be and how it ends up working. And if you made it this far in the video, consider leaving a comment about what other video game music you like, what video game music immediately makes you think of a certain scenario or a game. While you're at it, maybe comment something that I should talk about next. Also, if you enjoy this type of content, I post semi-regularly about a lot of topics similar to this one, so consider subscribing, or you can always unsubscribe whenever you feel like it. Anyway, I've been Seb, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!